This is down here. Ooh, it's gonna be dark. Let's see. Can we tilt this?
Yeah, like up that way. Okay. I don't think it tilts.
Let's see if I can get this here. Is it better? Good enough. Good enough. It was full. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. Oh, what is that?
Yeah, I know what to do.
Echo? Yeah, this is
What's
nice.
this doing? Hold on. What's going on? Yes. Oh, it's on another page. That page. Must be this page. There we go. Okay.
Move the light, move the light.
No, there's another page open. Still doing it?
Oh, is it?
Oh, it must be this page. Okay, we should be good.
Hello, testing, testing, testing. What time is it? I got 3 minutes till. I don't see anybody else. Good. Oh, no one's on right now. Oh. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to push that. Yeah, well, I didn't understand another video. Okay, good. That's it. Let's see. Okay, good. Hmm. Live. Pure alkaline water. All right. All right, we're coming in. Do you have any questions? Pure alkaline water. It's just you and me right now. And let's see. Oh, we got a couple of more minutes before 5. Any questions? Any comments? Any concerns? Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Do-do-do-do-do. I have to look that up. Get in, let them know we're going live. 5. There we go. So who's behind this pure alkaline water? Trying to see if I know you. Can you tell me who you are? All right, it's 5 o'clock. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? I'm just trying to warm it up. Just got up here. Just give it a few minutes for people to come on in here. Just so you know, today we're going to talk about cancer along with some other things. and how that affects the body, and how usually it happens as we get older, but it can happen when you're younger. That's what it's all about. Sweet Channy. Hello, Sweet Channy. You have any questions, comments, concerns while we wait for the others to come in? You guys got me one-on-one. It's the time to jump in. That's for sure. I'm trying to get some questions on here. Matter of fact, I need my camera. Can one of you guys, Pure Alkaline Water or Sweet Channy, can you type in a question or just a question mark? I want to see how this thing works. You don't have a question at all, or if you have a question, then you can ask that. I'm trying to see how that comes over on the phone. Hello, no questions yet. Great. All right. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, if you got a pen and paper, definitely get ready to write a question down or whatever. Because today I'm going to talk about cancer. You know, this whole thing is about a total body reset, and it's about getting your body reset in a way that has probably never been done before. Because for years, I've even emphasized nutrition. You can take the greatest nutrition on the planet, but if you're not moving your body, you're going to have a problem. And I say that easily, but the bottom line, what comes in is that you got to have blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow. That's the bottom line. And again, the blood feeds the cells. The lymphatic fluid carries the waste away from the cells. And of course, the nerves move the cells. And sometimes we take that for granted, but we need all three. Any obstruction in blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow, you're going to have a problem. And so, like I said, you know how we can fall asleep on our arm or whatever, or it gets under us and we lay on it and it goes numb. Well, that's easy to take care of because you just kind of rub it and get the circulation back in play. But see, if that had to do with your heart or other organs and tissues and cells, you're going to have a problem. It's just not going to work like that. You got to take care of it. And that's the thing. And so, again, as we get older, just from being on the planet longer and accumulating more waste in the body, particularly in the cells, tissues, and organs, that's just an automatic decline in blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow. That's what people don't get. It just slows down automatically. Oh, we're waiting on YouTube to start. Okay, what do I do here? I don't see that. Okay, we got 10 people trying to wait to get in. Let's see. I don't know why they're having a problem. You guys came in. But yeah, like I said, if you think of the trinity of the cells, you need blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow. And if, like I said, when those are obstructed, well, think about it, nerve flow. If you don't have nerves running in your body's not going to work. You can tell it to move, it's not going to move. So people have these neurodegenerative problems, multiple sclerosis, things like that. It's just the worst thing in the world when you don't feel like you have control over your body. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Oh, Purusha, hey, good to see you. All right, Walter. But yeah, again, so we're talking about cancer, but before I even just get more into cancer and talk about that, we want to talk about the foundation. The foundation of the body is your cells. And when your cells are okay, when your cells get what they need, when they can eat what they need and get what they need, when they can drink, when they absorb the nutrients that they get in, when they poop, when they excrete their waste, when they don't get overworked. Do you see a weird angle? Oh, it's a weird angle. Here, let's see. People are trying to tell me what's going on. Tell me where you guys need me to move. Is that a good angle right there? Can you guys see me? I'm looking at myself clearly. I don't know how that looks to you. Let's see. Here, let's get this out of the way. Hold on. Oh, I'm going to get that anyway. Anyway, the foundation for health is the health of the cells. Your health of your cells equals the health of your body and the health of your life. If your cells are That's the sit. Oh my gosh. Is that what they're telling me? Let's see. I didn't want to sit. Okay, let's do this. Give me a second. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay, how's that? I'll make sure this is right. Okay, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, is that better? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Parusha. If I can turn this, maybe that'll help some too. All right. So the health of the body is the health of the cells. And your cells are like you. I'm going to repeat this over and over again, probably in every talk that I have, because we have to get it in our consciousness that you are just a bunch of cells bathing in two fluids. You're literally about 100 trillion cells that are based in blood and lymphatic fluid. So it's literally like 100 fish in a fish tank. And so when the cells don't get what they need, it's going to be a problem because, again, your cells are like you repeated 100 trillion times. The cells eat, they drink, they breathe, they poop, they get upset, they get overexcited, they get joy, they get sad, they get depressed, they get anxious, they get worried. Anything that you feel, your cells feel. Your cells think and deliberates and makes decisions. I know it sounds a little esoteric, but your cells have consciousness. They really do. And that's what you have to understand. So understand how you think and feel and believe. That's how your cells think and feel and believe. Because again, your cells are constantly eavesdropping on your internal dialogue and your external speech. So whether you're conscious of it or not, your cells are conscious of it. And so if you're thinking sad thoughts, depressed thoughts, anxious thoughts, worrisome thoughts, you depress your immune system. You depress your cells, tissues, and organs, and they respond accordingly. Now, I know that sounds a little esoteric, but we're going to talk about cancer tonight. And so we have to understand how that plays into cancer. Because we always just think it's about nutrition. If you come on the planet, you eat grapefruits and this and that. But I'm sure a lot of you out there know that you can say, well, gosh, what happened to that person? They ate well, they exercised, they did this and that and all of this other stuff. How did they have this problem? Well, I can tell you simply, they have the problem because of a lack of blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow. And when the cells don't get what they need, that's why we have the problem. Ultimately, that's how you have cancer. So what I want to say first is in the body, there's an environment. There's an environment in your body like the environment in the fish tank. So again, if you think of your cells, your 100 trillion cells as 100 fish in a fish tank, there's an environment in that fish tank. And the environment in the body is called the biological terrain. And there's a terrain in the body that's conducive to life, and there's a terrain that's not conducive to life. And so the best way to describe that is describe it as pH, potential hydrant. So pH, and I'm sure y'all have heard of it, you have acid and you have alkaline. Of course, acid, if I threw it in your face, acid will burn, it's caustic, it's abrasive, it's harsh, it's literally inflammatory. And listen to the word, inflammation. That's what acid does. And acid burns. But then there's alkaline. Alkaline is cooling, it's soothing, it's dispersing, it's moisturizing. It puts the fire of inflammation out. But it literally takes 4 parts alkaline just to neutralize 1 part acid. Now that's just to break even. 4 parts alkaline to neutralize 1 part acid. And most of us eat like 99% acid foods. Well, think about it. If you think of raw fruits and vegetables in their juices, that's the only alkaline food on the planet and the only water content food on the planet. And that fluid and those fruits particularly is H320. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but it's just like the fluids that are in your body, with your body house. And that's why the best way to hydrate is with that. But anyway, let's picture this fish tank so we can understand how I like to explain what cancer is. So if you think of your cells as 100 fish in a fish tank, now you might have red, yellow, blue, green, pink, purple, orange fish. And so what the doctors say is, okay, you have orange fish cancer. It can be breast cancer, prostate cancer, liver cancer, whatever. But let's just say that you have this breast cancer, which we call orange fish cancer. So by and large, what they want to do is cut off the breast, and in the fish tank, that's like scooping out the red fish. Well, how did the red fish get sick? The red fish is in this tank, in this environment, in this biological terrain that's contaminated. So if you have a fish tank, it can be pristine, it can look well, the water is fine, but now you're going to feed the fish. And this is how we eat: 1 meal, 2 meals, 3 meals, plus snacks. And then this is processed foods, refined foods, cooked foods. So we put all of this food in the fish tank, and where does the food go? It goes to the bottom of the tank and it decomposes. And of course, the fish will eat some of the food, but then they poop. And that poop goes to the bottom of the tank and it also decomposes. And when the fish tank is poopy and stinky and murky, then some of the fish may die and go to the bottom of the tank and decompose. And that is exactly what happens in the body. But we just have a different name for it so it doesn't sound as bad. We call it undigested food, cellular poop, or metabolic waste. And then you have the dead cells themselves. So now you got to remember, your cells poop like you. So they're getting rid of their waste, not just the waste that you've consumed, that you may have eaten or drank, but the waste that comes from the cells themselves. And then there's the dead cells. What happens to your dead cells, the tissues, and organs? If that's not eliminated, they're accumulated as well. And that's why you always hear me say, you're not just what you eat, like the culture says. You're not just what you eat, you are what you're going to eliminate. So now you got this contaminated fish tank, which is representing your cells. So now you might have red fish disease, which we're going to call breast disease in this case, and you scoop it out, but all the other fish are still exposed to the same environment. They're exposed to the same toxins, and just because you removed the fish, you think you've done something. So like if you cut off the breast, I'm always asking, how did the cancer get to the breast? And they say, well, that's the only place it was. And then they give you chemotherapy and radiation, hopefully kill all of the cancer cells and some of the great cells. And hopefully you'll have enough strength and vigor to replace all of those dead cells with healthy cells again, which anybody that knows me always knows that I always say you cannot poison the body into health. You cannot take more and more toxic drugs made in the laboratory, put them in an already toxic body and expect it to improve, because those drugs did not come out of the earth. We came out of the earth, and they're not going to do us anything but harm. And the way they give us harm is what we call side effects. I mean, think about it. They can say you have side effects of headache, nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, bleeding, coma, and then they'll say perhaps even death, and ask your doctor and see if it's for you. What do you do with that? What if you have a physician that says, look, we're gonna make this lighter here. We're gonna take these medications that can possibly cause death, and they want me to ask a physician to see if it's for me. Well, if something can possibly cause death, I don't need to ask anyone if that's for me. This is me, and I'm just talking about me. I don't know about you, but because we grew up in this drug culture, we think that's the way to go. And the thing is, a lot of us are turning things around, but I'm telling you, the contamination is in the body, it's in the blood, and it's in the fish tank. So the only thing to do is to change the environment. Now you can cut the breast off, you can take the fish out, but then later on they say, oh, the cancer left, it's gone. But all of a sudden it came back. Now it came back in a different area, sounds like a ghost, and it moved over here. Now it's in the liver and it's in the lung, but it was just in the breast. My contention is that it never left. But let me just describe cancer cells. Cancer cells are normal cells that have become contaminated by toxic waste. It doesn't matter if you call them cancer cells. I like to say it's just like over-constipated cells, constipated with crap. So if you got over-constipated, you were overworked, you didn't get the nutrition you needed, you didn't get the oxygen you needed, oh, you look like something else too. But we wouldn't call you a cancer person. But yeah, it's just the name, it's just a term, and it doesn't matter what it's called. You're toxic like anything else is toxic. And so what do we need to do? We need to remove that. So if you got a red fish that's sick, and the so-called yellow, blue, green, pink, purple, and orange fish aren't sick, they're just waiting to happen. So the thing is, it's not to put chemotherapy and then radiation and all of this tamoxifen into the fish tank. The best thing would do is to go in and put a water hose in there, flush in that pure, clean water, and push out the poopy, stinky water. In other words, we want to change the environment. We want to change the biological terrain. And the two fluids, again, in the body are blood and lymphatic fluid. Now, the reason why all of this stuff happens, the reason why cancer happens, and jump in and ask a question whenever you like to, that's fine. But it really starts in the lymphatic system. I'm sure you heard about lymphoma. Now, you know, you have the lymphatic system. You have your septic tanks, you know, your lymph glands. They all up under your armpits. They go down through the gut. Then you go on to reproductive organs. And you have these lymph nodes, which are like septic tanks in the country where they don't have that city sewage like we have. Someone has to come and clean out that septic tank in order for the waste to be removed. Because if they don't, that waste backs up and it'll back up into the toilet, it'll back up into the sink, it'll back up into the bathtub, it'll back up through the system. And this foul waste, we can call it cancer in the house. By and large, you really can. But that's all it is. It backs up into the system. And so you guys had swollen tonsils at times. You know, some people had mumps. You might have a lymph gland that's swollen up. Now it gets into the breast. Well, the thing is to clean it out. Do you cut out the septic tank or do you clean it out? See, what we do is cut the lymph out, take the breast off, cut the lymph all the way around and say, okay, it was good. But now it's on the other side. So we cut that out. We just cut and burn. And that's not the way to do it. This is where cancer starts. It starts in the lymphatic system. That's the sewage system of the body. And think about it like this. The heart has a pump. The heart pumps and circulates the blood. And that's why you can have blood to your hands and feet and toes and your extremities. But the lymphatic system does not have a pump. And so the only way to move that lymphatic fluid is through exercise, is through movement. You know, particularly bouncing up and down, like in the trampolines that we have here at Roots Nutrition, or like I did for years, jump rope when I was still on the fire department, because I wanted to move that lymph, and deep diaphragmatic breathing. And most of us don't breathe deep. Like I was saying the other day, most of us lose 20% of our lung capacity by the time you're 40 years old. And you can lose 40% by the time you're 70 years old. So you're not having this deep diaphragmatic breathing, and you're not exercising in a way that causes you to breathe deep. And there are people that walk and walk and walk, and it's better than not doing anything, but you got to move that lymph. And the way the lymph moves on the right side lymph, it goes through the right kidney, and that's where it's filtered out. And the left side goes through the left kidney. The thing that slows lymph down is kidney filtration, because that's the only way for it to come out. And I know you've noticed these Vita places popping all over the place, and because the kidneys are suffering the impact from the lymphatic system. And if you don't have that kidney filtration, if it's not being eliminated, then you ultimately end up with 90% kidney function, 80%, 70%, 50%, 30%. They said, oh, we got to put you on dialysis. Now you're on dialysis. What do you think your lymph is doing now? Have you ever seen dialysis patients? You'll see them getting darker and darker because the skin is called the third kidney. And so this waste builds up in the system. I'm telling you, it's about elimination. It's always about elimination. You're not just what you eat, you are what you don't eliminate. Now, you guys know with the bowels, you know it even with your urine. You wake up in the morning, you have that strong, dark urine, you have the biggest bowel movement. And some of you go every other day, once a week, once every 2 weeks. Believe it or not, I had a lady that had one bowel movement every 2 months for 11 years. I know it sounds drastic, but literally, she had one bowel movement every 2 months for 11 years. Now, she was 5 feet by 5 feet, and you can probably understand why, because she wasn't eliminated. You know when she eliminated, it was like during her period, but only every 2 months during her period. It's back up throughout the system and increased her size, because when the body's over-acidic, of course, it'll retain water to dilute the acid. It'll produce more cholesterol to protect your blood vessels from the acid. It'll make you fat to bind up the acid. It'll leach calcium out of your bones to neutralize the acid. The body's going to do everything that it can to compensate for the lifestyle that we're living. And the body, through its symptoms, is trying to get you to equate your lifestyle with the symptoms that it's presenting. So what is cancer saying? Is cancer saying, I need chemotherapy, radiation, and tamoxifen? No system is saying that I need a drug. It's the body saying, stop doing what you've been doing to cause me to signal you in this way. That's what it's saying. It's trying to get you to associate your lifestyle with the symptoms that it's presenting, because as soon as you stop that, now the body will stop giving you symptoms. What we want to do is just pause and stop the symptoms. And so we continue on this path without getting to the root of the problem. The root of the problem in cancer is the lack of kidney filtration and a congested lymphatic system, because that's the sewage system of the body. And everybody knows you need to get the waste out of the body, but we kind of relegate everything to the colon. We talk about colon cleanses and cleaning out the colon and clearing out that 30 feet between your mouth and your anus with all those twists and turns and convolutions that are in there, and you want to sweep it clear. And that's why I'm always saying have fruit in the morning on an empty stomach and a big salad before lunch and dinner, because I'm giving you the best fiber to sweep all of that stuff out. But you have to eliminate, because when you don't, the kidneys get backed up, the lymphatic system gets backed up, then the cells, tissues, and organs get backed up. And because you feel those symptoms, you go to the doctor and ask for a drug. Now you're not in a drug to that same environment, to that same biological terrain, expecting to get better. It's not going to happen. So you got to move this stuff out. Like I give you the analogy of the fish tank, you got to change the water. Well, in the body, you have to change and clean the fluids. You have to clean your lymphatic and blood system. That's what it comes down to. Because every 120 days, you have all new blood cells. Every 120 days, that's every 4 months. Can you imagine? And again, every cell is first a blood cell. Then you want a liver cell. So if it's your breast, you'll get a new breast because you get new cells from the blood. But if those blood cells are formed and created from crap, from non-healthy foods, from cooked foods, refined foods, processed foods, dead foods, what kind of cells are you going to make? What kind of blood are you going to make to try to restore the system? Now, people build a house with termite-eaten wood. You can try to do that, but what's going to happen? It's looking great, it look fine, but it's going to crumble. It's going to reach its toll and come down, and that's what happens in the body. And we do this thing all the time. And I just wanted to highlight cancer today because usually it happens in older age, and because I'm really trying to address people older than 50, meaning because of where I am. And I told you maybe on the first meeting, some of you may not have been there, but there's more people over the age of 50 in the United States than any time in history. And every single month, 10,000 people turn 65, which I know because of that, 10,000 must be 64, 63, 62, and so on. And because this has been an ongoing thing, 10,000 are 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. And so my thing is, instead of trying to address all of these different health challenges that we can have as we get older, my thing is to return and rejuvenate the body on a cellular level. So I'm going to, by a total body reset, we can bring that life back to the cells, tissues, and organs. You know, I was telling someone today, they came in and they said, well, they're trying to work out and trying to do some exercise and they think they're too old. And listen to this, muscle knows no age. Again, muscle knows no age. So don't feel like you're just doomed because you're at a certain age and you can't reverse it and you can't go back. I mean, if you have any kind of mobility, you can increase that mobility. And when you increase that mobility, all the cells, organs, and tissues have better function. They have better blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow. So the best thing to do when the body is overwhelmed by an over an acidic environment is to clear everything out. And the only way out is your bowels, your bladder, your lungs, your skin. Those are the normal routes of elimination. What do? We poop, we pee, we sweat. You know, we can cry. It comes out through the eyes like that, you know, through the palate. Sometimes the body will just overwhelm you and it'll throw up. It'll eliminate from your gut. It'll eliminate through your eyes. It'll eliminate through your skin. It'll eliminate through your genitalia. It wants to find a way out because if you have all these other ways blocked off, it's got to find a way out. And that's what the body does. That's why I wrote the book, Body Intelligence. Your body's speaking to you 24/7. It's continually making a request, but we normally answer the body with a drug. So we add more contamination, and then we have another symptom, and we add another contamination. It's like we're getting ready to come into the winter now. Things are going to get colder and colder, and we'll try to do things to prevent it. But that's the thing. That's when we eat more. Think about it. To me, all of this starts in October during Halloween. We get more and more acidic, sugary cookies and candy and things like that. So we overwhelm ourselves with that in October. Boom, we move right into Thanksgiving. and overwhelm our bodies. Boom, then we move right into Christmas and we overwhelm our bodies. Then boom, we move right into New Year's. We pig out and overwhelm our bodies. And now it gets cold, and cold air goes right to the mucous membranes. Now the body produces more mucus as a buffer. And so now we get clogged up, we can't breathe, we have less oxygen, we've overstuffed and overworked our cells, tissues, and organs. And now the immune system gets depressed, can't do its job, can't defend us the way it should. We get tired. When we get tired, we're less active. Because we're less active, we're even less active. That's the way it segues. And so we stop moving. When you stop moving, everything slows down. When you get tired, your body gets tired, your lungs get tired. You gotta know your organs, tissues, and cells get tired. They feel the exact same thing that you feel. That's why I said sometimes you just gotta move your body even when you don't feel like it. And I am one to tell you, being on the fire department 32 years, you think I felt like getting up at midnight, 1:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4:30? Look, I can go on a fire, put a fire out, come back, get in the bed and start to go to sleep and boom, get back up and do it all over again. And that's why I try to tell people, during the LA riots, we got 3 fires every 60 seconds. There was no sleep. We just went on and on and on and on and on. Literally finally got a little bite to eat at 3 o'clock in the morning in Hollywood. And then we had to go on until the next day. It's like we're around for 3-4 days in a row. And I lived up in Lake Arrowhead at the time. So I'm driving from LA, more or less downtown LA, Eagle Rock area, and I'm headed back home and I'm just starting to doze because I was exhausted. So literally, I just pulled over. Don't play with sleep. That's just a tip. I just pulled over, got off the freeway, took a nap until I was refreshed enough to get home. And so you guys know when you're overworked. You know when the body's tired. But what are you going to do? You get sleep. When the body says something else and speaks to you, you have to understand what the body is saying. That's what I'm saying. You have to cultivate a relationship with your body. It's constantly making a request based upon its needs. You have to know a headache is not the body asking for aspirin. No one on the planet has cholesterol because of a lack of lipitor. You have to get that clear in your head. So what do? Now, the liver produces cholesterol, but then we eat cholesterol. But cholesterol is a good thing. I want to tell you that. You need it for the cell membranes. You need it to produce hormones. You know, men out there, testosterone is going down because you don't have enough. And you're depleting, and probably the things you're eating and drinking is driving it down because you're becoming more estrogen dominant. And ladies, believe it or not, estrogen dominance, estrogen is an acidic hormone. And cancer thrives in an acidic environment. So think about the environment, acid, it burns. You're in this fire and everything is burning up, and doesn't cancer burn? It's doing the exact same thing. So what do you do with that? What do you do with the acid? What do you do with any fire? For 32 years, I put the fire out. I don't care how big the fire was. This is how I think about cancer. I mean, we get a lumberyard fire or a clothing company fire with bales of clothes, and it's the hardest thing to put out because they're so saturated. But we put them out, we soak it, we hydrate it, we put more on it. We put the soap, it's like the soapy stuff that we put in the water and just flood it. Think about it. Every fire we've ever had during the LA riots, and we got 3 fires every 60 seconds, they all went out. And cancer is the same way. It's a fire ravaging the body, and now you need to do super alkalize the body. And you just flood it with that alkaline nutrition. And I'm telling you, what else can it do but peter out? You guys, any questions? Any questions about that at all? Let's see. All right, no questions yet. Well, you guys, anything? I'm telling you, this is the time to go in and get it in. This is why I'm here. I have to go over and beyond Inglewood so people can get this message. Because I'm telling you, particularly us, you guys, we only represent 14% of the country, and we've been missing. And I'm telling you, when I always say we lead the country in everything, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, cancer, obesity, kidney failure, everything. And it's a shame. And the thing is, I worked in, different areas of the body. I worked in Watts for 5 years. I worked in Westchester for 5 years. I worked at the airport. I worked at downtown LA for years and years. And I'm telling you, people die from the same things because of what they ingest, and they don't move the body. My emphasis today, and my emphasis now, is that you got to move the body. You can try to eat the right stuff, and people come through over the 21 years that we've been here in Inglewood. That's great. You've taken our products, you've eaten more live foods, but you're still not moving that body like you need to. Oh, here's a guy, a gentleman, Alex. Alex is a 54-year-old male recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I've been doing intermittent fasting, and I feel like it's working. Yeah, it will. The thing with the intermittent fasting is that it does digest the sugar and the fuel that's in the body. So it clears the blood of that high sugar content. And another way to do it is, and you probably weren't here last night, Alex, but the thing is, fruit, which sounds contrary to diabetes, even grapes are dark grapes, organic too, for that matter. But eating dark grapes, while it might spike your blood sugar for 2 to 3 days until it pushes all the carbs and the protein out of your blood, but once it does that, the sugar will actually go into the cells without the use of insulin. But yeah, continue doing that fasting. Intermittent fasting. See, fasting signals the body and the hormones that you're fit for survival. Because if you think about the African bushman, he could be 80 plus years old with a six-pack, muscle belly, striations. He's probably going to hunt for food in a fasted state. He may be after 3 or 4 hours before he catches something and brings it back. So now he has to work to drag it back. Then he have to take the time to make it and prepare it and do all of that stuff. And that's why he's ripped up like he is. When we see the fat on our bodies, I can tell you, we just got more fuel than the body can handle. So much more. But yeah, keep doing that, Alex. That's a great thing. Okay, how does the Roots nutrition system work for someone who no longer has a gallbladder? Oh, not a problem. The thing with the gallbladder, it's supposed to be like this little 4-ounce sac that sits behind the liver, and it stores bile. Bile is like this liquid to help emulsify fat. Whenever you eat fatty foods, you know what I like to think of? I think of, when we have the oil spills and the birds and the ducks, they all have this oil all over them. They use Dawn, that Dawn dishwashing liquid, because you put that on there, and it's actually patented. You can have a greasy sink, full of this oil in there, but you put a drop of Dawn in there, it just breaks up. Well, just like that Dawn breaks up the oil off the birds and out of your dishwater, it does the same thing. This is what bile does to the fat. Remember I said fats have to be broken down to fatty acids. And so the gallbladder stores that bile that's produced by the liver. And so when we eat fatty foods, it squirts out a little, breaks down that fatty food, and then it breaks down the fatty acids and it gets into the cells. But just because you don't have the gallbladder, that's okay. The liver still produces the bile, so it'll still work. But I would say to you, is really cut down on the fried foods. No, it's just you're making it work too hard. Cut down on the fried foods, the processed foods, that's the worst. And make sure you get the good oil, like coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, not that canola oil, seed oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. Just kind of stick with those 3. Because those are the things I usually cook with avocado oil, and then I can eat with coconut oil. And you can put it on your skin, hair, wherever you like. It's really good for you. But don't worry about that. Thank you, Alex Gonzalez, for the supplements. Any more questions? So all of this contamination. Listen, you guys, I know we make a distinction between what we call diseases, and I always like to say sickness and disease is simply the body making a request based upon its needs. And usually what we do is we try to make a distinction between one disease and another because of its location in the body. But remember the analogy of the fish tank? The fish are in the same tank, whether they're red, yellow, blue, green, pink, purple, or orange, they're contaminated by the same tank. Well, some can be more contaminated because of where they are in the tank. So remember, if that food and the waste goes to the bottom of the tank, well, some of the fish that are closer to the bottom of the tank, they're going to suffer more than the fish that are maybe above at the top of the tank. But remember, what does the water do in the tank naturally? It evaporates. And so now the water goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down. And now you have all of these fish in this small amount of water with all its contaminants, and now we suffer. And that's why when a person has cancer, they so-called cut it off or remove it. Then they say, oh, it left, you were in remission, it came back, but it moved over here. It's just a bunch of talk to me. That's why I said it sounds like a ghost. And that's why I gave the analogy, and I know I'm talking about cancer again, but I gave the analogy a couple of days ago about when you had a 5-bedroom house and the master bedroom was rat and roach infested. Well, yeah, you can come and have a construction crew with a bulldozer and take away the fried and roasted bedroom. That's not going to get rid of the rats and roaches in the wall and in the attic and in the crawl space underneath and wherever else they may be that you don't see. And you understand that. And so if you cut off the breast or cut out the prostate or cut out any organ that may be cancerous, why do you think you've gotten rid of everything? My contention is until you change the water altogether, until you change the environment, until you change that biological terrain, it's going to go again. So if you get the point that cancer lives and thrives in an acidic environment, wouldn't that tell you to become more alkaline? And the most alkaline foods on the planet are raw fruits and vegetables. What does that tell you? And think of this: fruits are cleansers, vegetables are builders. And so when you come to cleansing, we should assimilate and take in more fruit. And that's why I talk about the grapes. Get it in, the berries, but even more than that, I love lemons. Lemons are literally the most astringent fruit on the planet. You know what I mean by they make you pucker, they pull, they draw, they pull all of this stuff out of the body because they cut all of that mucus and the phlegm and all the waste in your system. When you can get all that stuff out, I'm telling you, it's the best feeling of the world. Was the session yesterday recorded? You're gonna put it on YouTube.
It's up.
Yes, it's on YouTube. Yes, you can get it on YouTube. Thank you, Hollis. But bring up your questions. And so that's the thing. You want to change the environment in the body altogether. I'm telling you guys, if you do that, you'll have a totally different life. And that's what the total body reset is all about. Because you can get all this information. I'm telling you, people, look how many diets there are out there. Eat this, eat that, take away this, take away that. I'm just trying to keep it as close to natural as possible. If it came out of the earth, and a lot of people will ask me, well, weed came out of the earth, doc. What about that? What about smoking weed? Well, I can tell you, I was a firefighter for 32 years. Smoke of any kind is not good for the lungs. Come on, you guys. Just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good. Cocaine, they're poisons. Belladonna, that's a poison. It doesn't mean it's natural because plants have their own defense. They have the defense mechanism to ward things off, just like some of the animals, like a porcupine. They want to protect themselves as well. But by and large, we know what's good and what's not good. The thing is, we're not being taken along. That's what I want to do personally. I want to get us all on the total body reset and take us along this path to not just get rid of the health challenges that are existing today that we may have, but the ones that we may not even be aware that are on the front, waiting to happen just because you haven't had a symptom yet. And believe it or not, so many people, so many thousands of people don't make it into the next year. And we take it for granted. There were people just like us. Why are we still here? My thing is we need to go on and take care of ourselves. Don't wait for some symptom to come up. I talked to a guy day before yesterday. He's old doc, I had a stroke. Man, I have a wife and children. And all I did was thought about you because you told me a long time ago not to do this, not to do that. And I just kept at it and kept at it. And now he has a stroke. And, excuse me. Fortunately, he doesn't have any neurological problems, no neurological deficits. He had the stroke, and he did have some neurological deficits for several days, but it all went away. And if he can take that as a warning, that's the best thing in the world. But see, some people don't get away with things like that. Like Eisenhower. I don't know if you guys remember President Eisenhower. Well, you probably weren't around, but President Eisenhower had 9 heart attacks before he died. And that's because of where the heart tissue died. The heart attack is literally called a myocardial infarction. Big word for myo meaning muscle, cardio meaning heart muscle, infarction meaning dead tissue. So depending on where the tissue died, his heart was still able to work. And he had some more tissue died, another heart attack, and another heart attack. Well, he eventually died. Well, you think that would have been the thing to do, but the doctor that back then dealing with a heart attack, that's when he said fat was no good. Just fat is no good. And that's why we started doing the low fat thing. Of course, fat is good. What about avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, coconut oil? But that's the thing. We got into this low fat thing, and Americans are sicker and fatter than ever before. No, raw plant fats are good. The right good oil fats are good. So I mean, there's a lot of information out there, and you have to decipher between it. And so that's what I'm going to do with the total body reset. I want to take us on this journey, really just 30 days, and it'll be a little challenging, but not really that challenging because I'm going to make it so easy, and I'm going to take you step by step, day by day, little by little. And like I said, the exercise is just going to be 10 minutes. 10 minutes while we gradually increase the intensity. Gradually. So it's just like if I said, okay, we got to go jog for 20 minutes, of course you would pace yourself and try to make the 20 minutes, but you may not be able to. But then if I said, well, what if I just say, run to one side of the room, jog to one side of the room, and jog back for just 20 seconds? Could you do that? You go, well, like, yeah. Okay, then I'll take a break and rest. Okay, do it again. Take a break and rest and do it again. See, I can get you going back and forth little at a time and gradually increase the speed of it and get you to work all the cells, tissues, and organs and increase that circulation and tissue perfusion. But like I said, there are women that walk at the forum, and I've seen them, and they'll walk and walk and walk, but they still never get out of breath. They still never increase their lung capacity. They still maybe don't do enough muscle work to increase their muscle tissue. And they still add the fat. Some of them look the same. And they go and go and go. And I'm telling you, you got to build muscular strength, decrease body fat, increase your lung capacity, densify your bones, increase your bone density. I know, ladies, you worry about osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. The fastest way to increase your bone density is weight-bearing exercise, not calcium magnesium supplements. You take those which are inorganic, then you wind up with bone spurs. Now they're going to irritate the spine and irritate the nerves, and you wonder what the problem is. Because it wasn't natural. It was inorganic. See, this is how plants work. This is why plant vegetation or plant fuel is better. What the plants do is they go down into the ground and they pick up the inorganic tissues, the inorganic minerals, and then they take them up, and when they come into the plant, they become organic. And that's why when we eat them, we eat the organic minerals. If you go on and take put it this way, some of the calcium supplements, they're literally pulverized oyster shell. Now you can take a bite of oyster and say, I'm going to replenish my calcium. But just because you pulverize the oyster and make it a powder, and now you can assimilate it, you still can't assimilate it. But that's what you do when you go and buy that. It's crazy. Let's see. I'm concerned about low testosterone at 54. Yeah, I get it. I know Ruth's going to help me. What would you suggest? Definitely come in. But by and large, you're estrogen dominant. I'm telling you, estrogen, I mean, any of us just take a look, we can see the estrogen dominance. You see men walking around with man boobs, gynecomastia, the belly fat, the low testosterone, their libido goes down. And of course, diabetes and high blood pressure plays a role in that because they don't have the circulation. You can't even get enough blood to your penis, but it's over and beyond that because estrogen dominance takes away and lowers the testosterone. Now, let me say this right off the bat, because men try to go get hormone replacement therapy. So they try to go get some testosterone from a doctor. Now, if you have all that belly fat, this is going to sound like a big word, but forget the word because I'll explain it. You can go through hyperaromatization. Of course, so the body uses this aromatase enzyme to actually convert testosterone back to estrogen. Because you have the belly fat. The more belly fat you have, the worse off. So that's number one thing. Get rid of the belly fat. Get in shape. I can tell you what you can do. Get on a total body reset. We'll take all of that. We'll naturally raise your testosterone. And of course, we'll take your stuff. We'll definitely like the balancer. It'll balance out the estrogen, and because it'll push that out, it'll lift your testosterone. But don't think you can go get hormone replacement therapy and solve the riddle. That's not going to do it. Because if you still have the fat, you still have it on your belly, that belly fat will literally convert testosterone back to estrogen no matter how much you take. So you'll take more, convert it, take more, convert it, take more, convert it. You have to put your body in a state where it's not going to convert it to estrogen anymore. And that's what we do here. So again, it's like taking the fish tank, cleaning the tank out, putting the good stuff in, getting the bad stuff out, and then the fish live and thrive. That's what it comes down to. All right, here's another question. Is it bad to take apple cider vinegar daily? Does that turn into alkaline or stay acidic? I think it's more acidic. I know people take it. a cider, like a regular apple cider that doesn't turn into vinegar, you know, it's better than that white vinegar and distilled vinegar for sure. I mean, look how strong it is. If you just tried to take it straight, you want to dilute it and do it like that. When I think about alkalinization, because that's what we really want to do, to me, there's nothing better than the lemons. It's my contention is that it was lemons on the tree in the Garden of Eden. I know it's just a thing, and I just a joke of mine, but that's what I see because lemons are so astringent, and everyone knows if you put lemon juice in water, it'll alkalize the water. Muslims, everyone knows that. I'm not a fan of it. You can do more research on it. I just, I like to stick more or less with what I can get just the way it is, and it makes all the difference in the world. Okay. Oh, what is the total body reset? Well, the total body reset is literally that resetting your body, but on the cellular level. Because, like I said, for 21 years, people have come in and got on the program and lost weight and feel good and really lowered the size of their bellies and all that, but they're still flaccid. They still have a lack of muscle tissue. It's called sarcopenia. The muscles shrink, the fat still accumulates. And so the thing is, what gives us fitness, what gives us vigor is movement. And that's what I was saying. I think I was actually in the first session last week. On my job, I would see women, or men even hit a lip in the sidewalk and just do a face plant, get a baseball-sized hematoma because they didn't have the strength to get their feet back under them to stop the fall. So now they reach down to stop the fall and break their wrist or arm. Or even stepping off a curb. Now, most of you, I'm sure all of you here listening to me now, you can step off a curb. You don't think anything about it. Well, older people, as they get weak, as the muscles get weak and they accumulate more body fat and they don't have the brakes, now they step off the curb and go down. Now, it's actually easier for them to step up onto the curb because they have that push muscle, but the brakes, and that's why when we fix that is to slow everything down. We work on the brakes. So we work on the muscle. In a nutshell, just so I can answer it quickly and move to the next question. In a nutshell, the total body reset is we're going to build your muscular strength, decrease your body fat, increase your lung capacity, densify your bones, increase that bone strength, and increase your cardiac output. So it's really about your heart and lungs. So we're going to have you breathing deeper because oxygen is the number one nutrient. But we're going to do that on a cellular level where we change you from the inside out. It's not guesswork. And the thing about it is the exercises will only take 10 minutes a day, which are like 3 songs on your favorite playlist. By the time someone else gets dressed and put their shoes on and take off to the gym and get there, you would have been done and showered up. But I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. And like I said, I'm going to teach it. I'm going to show it. I'm going to do it personally. I'm not asking anyone else to do it because I want to make sure you get it right because the results that you're going to have, it starts January 1st. And the results that you're going to have, all your friends are going to ask you, what have you been doing? What happened? Because of them, even though it's 30 days, it's going to feel like just a couple of weeks of them because they may not have seen you. And so it's going to look like a miracle. But I'm going to tell you, I had a guy on the job, Enrique. It's been a guy, I'm telling you, in 30 days, and it's because if you have the weight to lose, you'll lose it. In 30 days, he lost 43 pounds. 43 pounds in 30 days. And it didn't take much. The thing is, it's like giving the body what it needs and exercising the body that it needs to be exercised, and your body changes. I say it over and over again. The body adapts to what you demand of it, but specifically to what you demand of it. Well, see, most of us don't demand much from the body. And because we don't, the muscles atrophy, the weight gain. Then we have the weak bones. And then your cardiac output. No, your heart can't pump hard and fast when you haven't done anything. I mean, really, right now, how many of you guys can get on the football field and sprint from one side of the football field to the other? No, just run like you're running away from 4 Rottweilers. Just do it one time. Just take off and go. Now, just imagine if you had a fire and you had to jump up out of the bed and go run and take off. It's the hardest thing in the world. And the reason why I can tell you how to do it is because they woke me up at midnight. They woke me up at 3 in the morning. They woke me up at 4:30. They woke me up over and over again from a dead sleep, and I had to be out of the station in 60 seconds and literally almost go run a 10K. Just imagine you're out there working an hour and working a fire for an hour. You're just running in, trying to push it back. You're going in, the pressure of the hose is working on you. You got on your turnout boots, your turnout coat, your breathing apparatus. Now you're breathing through a mask and you're pushing and working and you're sweating. You can literally lose 10 pounds at a fire. You're just sweating so much and you're working this fire. But my point is doing it from a dead sleep. No waking up, no, warm up, let's go do this and let's get stressed out. No, you just do it. And so those 32 years of that experience, in my retirement, I said, well, how do we do this? And I really did pray about it. How do I really build muscular strength and decrease body fat? How do we really increase your lung capacity? Because they do shrink. How do we densify the bones and increase that cardiac output? Well, I found a way, and I found a way to do it in 10 minutes. That's the secret that I have, and that's the secret that I want to tell you. And that's why we're going to let people start buying into it next week. And we're going to talk about that. Here's the question. It's got a light. Let's see. Oh, I've seen people doing the watermelon diet. I don't know all the details, but it sounds like, oh, yeah. Well, I just went to Chicago a couple of months ago or so, and I actually did 10 days before I left. But yeah, watermelon fast is great. Think about it. Everyone knows the watermelon's a diuretic, right? It flushes the kidneys, both of the kidneys, the ureters, the bladder, the urethra, flushes all of that stuff out. And the citrulline in it, guys, you wake up like a 14-year-old. No, seriously. Because you may not know, you guys, but the kidneys, again, is the most complex organ in the body, second only to the brain. I know we think about the bowel movements and clearing out the bowels, which is very important. But the bowels only get rid of the digestive waste in the system. The kidneys get rid of the cellular waste, the contaminants, the toxins. That's why kidney failure is all over the place. That's why the DaVita places are popping up, because they're not filtering. And if their kidneys aren't filtering, you can't filter the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system being a sewage system, and that's why cancer is prevalent. We didn't hear about cancer like this when we were children. Even though we may have ate candy and sugars and sodas and things like that, but we were out there, we were active, we were moving around aggressively, we were sweating, we were playing tag and baseball and stickball and football and running till the lights went on, and then went on and did what we do. Now they take PE out of schools because they don't want a child to be left behind. Well, they're just going to be overweight and left behind and sick and left behind, thinking they're going to be more academically proficient because they take PE out to give them more time to study. No, it's not happening. What is that? Oh, thank you. Let's see. Any more questions here? All right. Magnesium supplements. Oh, I answered that. People do need magnesium. Yeah, real magnesium is good. You can have it. It's definitely one of the minerals. I like to get things through my greens. But if you feel like you need a supplementation, yeah, there's good stuff. But these Cal Mag vitamins that you get or minerals, this calcium magnesium, you can look by and large. Now, getting, how do I call it? Whole food supplements, if you will, that's a different thing from the synthetics thing, the synthetic stuff. That's just not going to do you any good. So always go after whole foods. How much of the power cleanser should I take daily? Two and two. 2 in the morning and 2 at night. I think my Prolax issue affects my digestion even more. I usually take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening now, but not sure if I need more. Oh yeah, I always take more. I start off with people with 2 in the morning and 2 at night because I don't know where you are. I mean, like if you were the lady that I talked about earlier that had one bowel movement every 2 months, well, 2 and 2 is not going to do anything for you. Actually, when she came in, I had her take 10 in front of me. It was like 3 in the afternoon. And she told me she went once every 2 months for 11 years. I said, oh, you need to take 10 cleansers right here now in front of me. And when you get home after dinner, take 10. And tomorrow morning, take 10. Because I just wanted to get her opened up and get things moving. And once things start moving again and she's getting more live foods in, then she can back off and reduce it down. So yeah, up it. Don't be afraid to up it. As a matter of fact, if you look on the brochure, I'll say take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. And then in bold red letters, it says to increase or decrease dosage in order to have 4 to 5 bowel movements. Yes, I said 4 to 5 because I want to make sure you eliminate. Again, you're not just what you eat, you are what you don't eliminate, because if it's not eliminated, it's accumulated. Again, wherever it's accumulated is where your body's going to give you problems. So right now in the 21st century, heart disease, heart attack is still the #1 killer. That tells me the waste is accumulated in the heart. Cancer is the #2 killer. So now the waste accumulates in the lymphatic system, the sewage system of the body. It's an easy read. I'm telling you, you guys can know more about your bodies than any physician because they look at the body through a prism, if you will, or they become more and more myopic. You know, they learn more and more about less and less, if you can get my drift. So they'll see it through the eyes of their specialty, if you will. You know, a neurologist will say, oh, it's the nerves. You got a nerve problem. You see what I mean? A proctologist say, oh, well, it's the prostate. You know, whatever their expertise is, they're going to see it through those eyes. And I don't see the body as compartmentalized. I don't see it as separate. And because they language the body as being separate, we bought into it as being separate. You know, we really think we have a respiratory system, a digestive system, a circulatory system, a reproductive system, a nervous system, a skeletal system, a muscular system. We think all of these systems are real and separate in the body. And I ask people simply, can the muscular system say to the skeletal system, I can walk without you? I don't need you. Or the digestive system saying to the respiratory system, I can breathe without you. No need. No, just do whatever you want to do. How about that? How about the reproductive system saying to the nervous system, oh, I can still have sex without you? I know it sounds ludicrous, but I'm trying to get you to see the body as whole. And we talk about holistic health. No, you have to take care of the entire body. We try to take care of sections of the body. So again, we're going to get this oncologist. We're going to cut this breast off. We'll cut this prostate out. We'll cut this part of the liver, cut this out. You just cut it out and you go from there. Cut your tonsils out. Why do we have tonsils? Oh, you know, maybe God made a mistake. I have no idea. Of course not. Don't we need our tonsils? Don't we need our appendix? Don't we need these parts of ourselves? The spleen is really not necessary. Let's just take it out. We just got these parts that do nothing for us. That's why I wrote the book, Body Intelligence. Man will never know what the body is supposed to do. Man can never know what the intricacies of the cell. Literally, there's more information. There's more knowledge and wisdom in the cells than any library of computers on the planet. Hey, AI, you guys are buzzing on AI? Well, the cells have more AI intelligence than AI ever will. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. And all of these health challenges that we encounter as we get older and older, you know, we language it as aging. No, it's not aging. It's just you've been on the earth longer to accumulate more waste in this system. And now you suffer the consequences. So no, just turn that around. Get the good stuff in, get the bad stuff out, and move the body. That's the equation. But move the body in a vigorous way. I mean, if you have these African bushmen running and sprinting, you can do it too. I still sprint. Yeah, I still sprint. I sprint up Kenneth Hahn, and I love it. I love it up there. As a matter of fact, you'll see people on football fields or these drills, they'll have the ladder. You know, they have this little ladder laid out, and they put their feet through it to try to build their agility. And then they'll have the cones, and they try to do these drills to go through the cones. And then they'll have these little pods, you know, run around this pod and test that one and go back and do that one. They have all of these little drills because they're trying to simulate what we would normally encounter in the environment in real life. Well, the thing I like about Kenneth Hahn is when I'm sprinting up the mountain, I'm not just sprinting arbitrarily. I have to look for the half rocks that are still bulging out of the dirt. I have to look for the pitfalls, the holes that are in the dirt. I have to look for the fissures from the rain, the gutters that's gutting the dirt, and then the rocks that are just lying on the dirt, and then the dog poop that's on the trail. So I'm running vigorously like a dog is after me while stepping and observing all of these obstacles around me. So I'm building my neuromuscular system. I'm building my nervous system. I'm building my musculoskeletal system. I'm building my feet. I'm building my heart and lungs because, I don't want to step in there and I want to do that. So I'm simulating running from an animal, if you will. That's what tells my body and hormones that I'm fit for survival. And what do? Just the opposite. We don't move. We don't do anything. We sit back. We drive to work. We drive back home from work. We eat while sitting at work. We drive back home and eat while sitting at home. We watch something on TV, go to sleep, do it all over again. And we do that all week long in hopes of buying ourselves back on the weekend. But then we do the same thing on the weekend. But then we do that for 11 months, so we get a week off or two, and then we go to the Bahamas or Jamaica, whatever, and lay on the beach. And then start it all over again for the next year. Come on, you guys, add those years up. What we call old age, what we call these symptoms in old age, It's just the cumulative effect of having this waist build up over time. If the waist doesn't build up, you wouldn't have those challenges. I can move like I did as a 23 years old when I got on the fire department. There's no slowing it down. This is not a pretense. That's why I'm going to do the total body reset myself. It's not a pretense. In other words, my thing is I'm my own visual aid in PowerPoint. When you see what I'm able to do, my thing is hopefully that you can see that you can do the exact same thing. And I'm going to take you there gradually. See, what I've seen over the years, these trainers, they'll get people trying to work them out. And I don't know what it is. I think they're trying to prove that they're a great trainer. So they'll overwork you. They'll hurt you in the first workout or the second or third one. You're just like, oh, forget it. And, you paid this money and then you just leave and you're like, no. Look at how babies get strong. Doesn't a baby push up in the crib, they look around, and they lower themselves slowly? No rush, no anything like that. Even when they're learning to walk, they hold onto the couch, they'll start sinking slowly. That's putting on the brakes, which helps you step off the curb, right? They're putting on the brakes and they stand back up straight and walk a little more and sink again. And then think of when they're crawling. It's like the bear crawl. Some of you guys are going to have to do this. Get down on all fours, hands right up under your shoulders, and your knees right up under your hips. And then with the balls of your feet, just take your knees off the floor for like 2 inches. And you'll feel it just working your core like crazy. And just holding that position. Now, if you try to walk in that position, or like I'm going to have you do gradually, slowly move to the left 5 times in that position and back to the right 5 times, you'll never think like, how can I work my core just doing that? This is how babies get strong. Here, I'll tell you this. Here's the big hint. The total body reset is mimicking how babies get strong. That's exactly it. Now, if you can figure that out, you got it, but I don't think you can. But when you experience it, put it this way, from the very first workout, you're going to be like, okay, this works. We're on to something. And you get that going, it's going to change your life across the board. Let's see, what do we got here? Good move, turning on the screen. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Any more questions? Oh, and just for the lady with the prolapsed, I think the prolapsed colon. We have ascending, transverse, and descending colon. The transverse colon is what goes across. And usually when that's prolapsed, it'll push the abdomen out. And for you females, even males, it'll push on the bladder, or females, it'll push on your uterus and push it down. And then you can have a prolapsed uterus. You ever seen a swayback horse? That's prolapses. And things prolapse. Why do they prolapse? Because gravity pulls on you. It's constantly pulling on you. We all have some semblance of strength because gravity is constantly pulling on us. But the thing is, we have to resist gravity. And see, that's why gravity with weights, you can drop them on you, but they're always working more effectively in opposition to gravity. Well, I like to use bands. So on the total body reset, we're going to wind up using bands, which are easy. And the reason why is the elastic force in the bands gets downloaded into your bands, which are muscles. And you can do them at any angle. They're multi-directional. You can get the band and pull it across this way. You can pull it across this way. You can pull it across this way. Think about it. Those of you that are tennis players, you can get the band and pull it like a forehand. You can turn around and pull a band like it's a backhand. If you want to serve, you can pull it from the top. If you're going to grab it and pull it from the bottom. You can pull it in any direction, multi-directional. So now you get all the muscles, cells, tissues, and organs without hurting yourself. It's smooth. That's the whole thing. My thing is to get you where you need to go safely without hurting yourself so you can live those years into retirement and be thriving in your retirement. Like I said the first day, so you can go to your granddaughter's wedding and dance up a storm at the reception. So you can go and climb up, well, I don't know about Mount Vesuvius, but you can go up and climb the pyramids or go on any vacation you want. Like I said, Siena in Italy it is healing. And if you're not in shape, you're going to peter out. You might walk up a little bit and stop. Well, I don't want anybody waiting on me. I don't want my grandchildren waiting on me. Of course, my children aren't. But I don't wait anybody. You can be able to go, you guys. That's what I'm going to prove to you. And those of you that are getting that first issue and the first time in that month from January 1st is on a Monday. We're going to start and go through, it's actually 6 days a week. because we're going to do that. We separate everything. We're going to push on Monday, squat on Tuesday, and pull on Wednesday. Then we're going to push on Thursday, squat on Friday, pull on Saturday. So each week you'll push 2 times, you'll squat 2 times, and you'll pull 2 times. And that's all the body does. It pushes, it squats, and it pulls. But when we isolate it, we're really going to rip those muscles softly and easily. And initially it's going to feel like no big deal, but they'll get stronger and stronger, faster and faster, which is going to slow everything down. And then, of course, every day we'll work the core a different way because that's the weakest part on the body. So by strengthening the chain, the fastest way to do it is strengthen the weakest link. As soon as you strengthen the weakest link in the chain, you strengthen the entire chain tremendously. And the next thing you do is strengthen the next weakest link, and then the next weakest link, and the next weakest link. And that's what we're going to do on the total body reset. We're going to strengthen every weakness in your body. Well, now I can tell you, after the 10th workout, I can say this confidently. After the 10th workout, you're not going to believe how good you feel, how strong you feel, how sturdy you feel, how whole you feel, how you feel like, because your body's going to be signaling, okay, you're turning things up. Without a big harsh thing hurting or doing any of that stuff or building up so much acid in the body, it's going to change the thing. All right, where are we at? Oh, gosh. I mean, I'm went over an hour already, you guys. You know what? I got to get out of here. I have things to do. I have people to call. And any more questions before I go? Let's see. Did I miss anything here? I had a C-section and then natural. Yeah. When you have a C-section, you know, they cut up in here, an abdomen to let the baby out. And so, you know, you can have some scar tissue there. And that's why I love that I'm doing with the total body reset is that we're going to take you gradually through. And sometimes, you know, and even some people have a hernia, you know, where the stomach lining, the intestine starts to come through the stomach lining. The thing to rebuild that is to take it slow. That's what it comes down to. Take it slow. You take it slow and you can rebuild. You can rebuild anything that has motion. I don't care. It's like you might have 10% of your strength. We can increase on that 10%. We can increase it to 15 and to 20 and to 25 and to 30. And once we get there to 30, we can bump up to 40 and then 60. And then it's just because the body adapts to what you demand of it, specifically to what you demand of it. I remember, and I'm going to just say this before I can see any more questions. I'm going to tell you how crazy it is. I was on the fire department and I wanted to do a push-up and clap in front and clap in back and clap in front before I landed. I just thought that was a cool skill. And so I said, what do I do? I'm going to clap in front, clap in back, and clap in front before I land. So one thing I did know, I'm a smart guy, whether you think so or not, no bragging, but so what I did is I got up on the kitchen counter at the fire station. And from the kitchen counter, you're really still pretty much in an erect position. So I just leaned over to the counter and I pushed up. And from that position, I can push up and clap in front and clap in back and clap in front because I was pretty high. You know, you do it. And so I'm doing what I want to do right now, the very first day. I'm clapping in front, clapping in back, clapping in front before I land back on the kitchen counter. So I kept doing that, clapping in front, just pushing. Every day I would do that. After I got strong enough and fast enough, I felt like I can do it off the kitchen table. So I pushed that up against the wall. And then I started doing it from the kitchen table, pushing up, clapping in front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back. And I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And I was like, gosh, I'm getting faster and stronger. Then I pushed the bench up against the table, up against the wall. Then I started doing it off the bench. Now, definitely it was harder because I was lower to the ground. But I'm doing it over and over and over again. But I'm still clapping in front, clapping in back, clapping in front. I'm landing. And I was like, this is amazing. Kept doing it. I finally got down to the floor. I pushed up, clapped in front, clapped in back, clapped in front. I did it 15 times. I was able to do it 15 times in a row. My question to you is, and I want you to answer it, how long did it take me to go from the kitchen counter to the kitchen table to the kitchen bench down to the floor? Come on, give me an estimate, somebody. And that's the thing, and it's the secret. While you think about that, here's the secret. Whatever it is you want to do it. Do it. Just do it easily, do it softly, do it where it's no big deal to you, and gradually increase the intensity. Some people are so funny. Okay, Dale, thank you. Dale said 30 days. Who is this? Donna said 1 day. Oh, gosh, how funny is that? Okay. You know how long it took me? I'm going to tell you. And I hadn't done it before ever, but I'm going to do it. It literally took me 2 weeks, 2 weeks only. And that's where I got the idea. It's like, oh my gosh, the body adapts to what you demand of it, specifically to what you demand of it. Because I was specifically clapping in front and back in front again and landing. So when you do something specifically and you do it repeatedly, habitually, consistently, and daily, it just changes you in the shortest period of time. That's why I'm telling you, I can change you on a cellular level in 30 days and nobody will recognize you. That's the challenge I'm asking you to do. So we're going to have people start and sign up next week. And if you have any more questions about it, we can do that. I appreciate it, you guys. I don't see any more questions. There are no questions on here. Oh, somebody said 4 weeks. That's good. I would have thought it took at least that long myself. I had no idea. But when I did it for the first time, and here's the last thing I'll say for sure. When I did it for the first time, well, after I did it, I was at the gym and my nephew-in-law, he saw me doing it. And so I was just doing it one after another. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing push-ups, clapping in front, clapping back, and clapping in front again. He's like, oh my gosh, if you can do it, I can do it. I was like, no, don't do it, don't do it. He says, if you can do it, I can do it. Because he was much younger than me. He says, no, I can do it. So he pushed up, clapped in front, and bam, hit himself on the face. Seriously. That's what I'm saying. You don't jump into it. You take your time and get it. So yeah, you guys come in and see me. Oh, how much is it? Oh, it's $297. That's it. It's $297. And we're going to give you the cleanser and the green. We're going to tell you where to get a band because that's all you're going to need. And you need the band for pulling because we're going to push, we're going to squat, we're going to pull. We slow everything down. Like I said, you're going to know the difference the first day. You're going to feel the difference in your physiology the first day. But in 10 days, and this is what I mean by 10 days. We'll go Monday through Saturday, push on Monday, squat on Tuesday, pull on Wednesday, push on Thursday, squat on Friday, pull on Saturday. Take Sunday off, then push on Monday, squat on Tuesday, pull on Wednesday. So in that 10-day period, taking Sunday off, you would have pushed 3 times, you would have squatted 3 times, you would have pulled 3 times, you would have done your core work 9 times, and you would have done cardio 9 times. In that 10-day period, you're going to feel like an entirely different person. And from there, we're going to stack up into the next 10 days, and we'll stack up to those 10 days. We're going to take you right through, and you're going to know. Everybody know your energy, your demeanor, your personality is all going to shift and change because this is the vehicle we live in. And when you're driving, when you're driving a hoopty, how you feel driving a hoopty and how you feel if you're driving a racing car. Oh, that's how you're going to feel because this vehicle is going to act differently. But that's what we're going to do. I appreciate you guys. Well, how do you register? We'll make that clear. We're going to have people start to register next week on Monday. I'm going to get my social media guy to set it all up. We're going to give you a place to sign up for. I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys. We're going to be on tomorrow night, live at 5. And if you have any questions, write them down now. If anything I didn't get to answer tonight, get them down there. I just want to give you guys the best health you can have. We're meant to be on a planet a long time. Back in the day when people were living 960 years and all that stuff, it took a lot. It was a much more pristine world. And so I always say your health is a demonstration of the fuel that you consume and your body's response to that fuel. And when I say fuel, not only what you eat and drink, but what you breathe in, what you put on the skin, and particularly what you think, feel, and believe. In this 30-day reset, you're going to see how much what you think, feel, and believe plays into your cells and into your body, into your dreams and all of that. You get this thing under, you can get anything else under. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get this body under. Thank you, guys. I went over time. Appreciate you. Love you. Get your questions for tomorrow night. And I will see you soon. All right. Thanks a lot. Let's get rid of this. Bada bing, bada boom. And